So now we've got our VABs with all of our hardware on the inside, and then we've got our glove box holder. What we're gonna do is we're gonna mount this glove box holder to the VABs before we mount the entirety of it on the side of the unit. In order to do so, I'm gonna line up one of my holes with the hardware that we've slid in our VAB, and I'm gonna place one of the screws through it into that square nut. And we'll do the same thing with all four. Sometimes you've got to scooch over the glove box or the accessory in order to be able to access your other hole or your other piece of hardware on the other side. So keep your screws loose as you're doing this. Do not tighten anything down until you get all of them in. So now I'm going to line up my other ones on the bottom as close as I can. We're going to take and put our hardware into the square nuts on the other side. That one's in. Now we'll scooch this one over to line that one up a little bit better. We'll do the same thing there and thread it in. Now again, just thread it in loosely. Do not tighten these down quite yet. There we go. All right. So in order to mount our accessory to the side here, this specifically requires us to remove the top altogether. So we're gonna lightly pull up on each side until you get the entire top to pull off. There's just 4 pads of Velcro there on each corner. Now I'm going to grab my accessory and we're going to try to line up, starting at the bottom, our square hardware in through the channels here on the corner of the unit. Sometimes it's helpful to press those screws from the inside of the VAB to get that square nut to push out. So now we're going to take and do the same thing on the last VAB. There we go. So once you get your accessory to the desired level that you want it, you want to make sure that these outside screws that are attaching the VAB to the corners are tight. We'll start off with one side, tighten that down to the best of our ability. Do the same thing on this side. And now we're going to work our way down to the bottom. Tighten those. And then now we're going to tighten our accessory to the VABs. So now that everything's all in there, and there we go. There we go. Now we'll replace our top. What I like to do is line up that back edge with both back corners. And then sometimes you need to pull out slightly on this right side to get it to go past that lip. And then we'll do the same thing in the front, making sure everything's over, and then press down on the Velcro and you're good to go.